This stuff doesn't work. It's not like people are more religious or more Christian than they ever have been. It genuinely doesn't work.
You little tater tot bitch. We are 2 minutes and 35 seconds into this video. I'm just as gay as the rest of us, motherfucker.
Feels just the same. Another sunny day in LA. Everything's fine, so they say. Wonder what the news is.
But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a good video or not, but Lex Fridman dropped the Zell Disney pod. Oh, he talked to a video on how leftists can win in 2025. What is this? Harper O'Connor. I don't know who this guy is. Who are these, like, new guys? There's like new YouTubers out there now, I feel like. Mini Minute Man is great. He's awesome. Okay, let's watch that one. Oops, where is it? And we have the wife, the MAGA guy who's like apparently a child predator.
YouTube has a lot of content to watch. Some of it is long and some of it is short. Some of it is mild and some of it is radical. Now, with this in mind, I was curious to see if watching only YouTube shorts could speed up a descent into the alt-right political pipeline. Each short is not very long. So, in theory, indoctrination into a political ideology should be.
I think that chatter was implying that you never see pro-Chinese videos made by Chinese people because the chatter believes only outsiders are pro-China and Chinese people hate the country. That's so funny. That's, yeah, no, Chinese people hate the country, dude. They hate it. I promise.
Be faster than the old-fashioned way of watching long-form content. So how many shorts does it
Mini Minuteman does an archaeology YouTube channel who is anti-fascist and anti-historical bias
take until YouTube starts recommending me far-right or alt-right content? Well, without spoiling too much, let's just say that it's not very long. Hey, it's been a minute, and welcome to. But before we get too far into this, we need to define what alt-right is. This is a hard thing to do, and the definition can be pretty subjective. So I brought a friend along to dive a bit deeper into this topic. Some of you may know him. He's an archaeologist, environmental scientist, and a phenomenal debunker of alt-facts and alt-history. I had the privilege to meet him and get to work with him on a fantastic video that will be coming out later. I'm not going to spoil anything. But here to talk about the alt-right pipeline is the great Milo Rossi.
Hey, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
I'm trying to fit in.
Guys, today, to talk about the alt-right, I have Mini Minute Man.
He sure does. In the flesh. In person.
Flesh.
Right
He's
here.
right here. I'm curious because I think defining the alt-right or the far-right can be subjective. So I think there's some flags and some, maybe some signs that we need to look for when conducting this experiment. So I wanted to talk to you because you have dealt with sort of that alternative facts side of YouTube. So I would love to understand maybe the relationship between the alt-facts and the alt-right.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, that's a great question. For those of you that don't know, my name is Milo Rossi. I use the YouTube handle Mini Minuteman, and I focus on archaeology and primarily pseudo-archaeology and alt history, where I will, kind of weigh the claims made by the alt history crowd and compare them to, well, actual research and facts. Now, I encounter this all the time in what I do. I think that there is a very strong parallel between sort of more far-right leaning sympathies and sort of the alternative history, alternative facts, sort of group. Now, I will say, and I think you made a good distinction with this at the beginning, that I want to avoid giving my own definition of what, the alt-right is or the far-right is. Yeah. I think that's something that the viewers can kind of come up with on their own, unless you find a more standardized definition that isn't as subjective as what either of us would say.
Sure.
But this is something that we see a lot in kind of the history space where, at first you're kind of talking about ideas of, like ancient aliens and kind of like those more goofy things. And, you're watching your documentaries about, the lost advanced civilizations and things like that. And that's all very interesting and very endearing and something that's really thought-provoking. But as you begin to go sort of more and more into it, you begin to come across a lot of, characters and personalities that are really beginning to twist it a lot more into politics. And I think that kind of this correlation that we end up seeing between sort of alt history and sort of that alt-right pipeline is really this a combination of sort of anti-intellectualism as well as sort of this populist movement that has a really big distrust for any sort of authoritative body. Right. So any information coming out of academia is immediately written off as being biased or being misinformation or being a lie, and the information and sort of facts and deductions made by one individual is seen as somehow trumps all of that. And so that's a difficult thing to sort of contend with as we dive into the alt history field, because it is something that begins as something that isn't inherently political, but in my opinion, and from what I've seen doing this for quite a while, it eventually almost always does become something political. But we see it really really heavily now, where it goes one day you're talking about Atlantis, and the next day you're seeing the same people talking about Atlantis using anti-Semitic dog whistles, and it's like whoa, how did we end up here? So what you're doing, I think, is really important, and I'm excited to see what becomes of it.
I am too. I have no idea what's going to happen yet. I haven't done it yet. So,
we have no idea.
Yeah, this is live.
We'll be back with Milo once we have some actual data and results at the end of the experiment. But for now,
this is what always happens. Like every single like minor, in my experience at least, as someone who absolutely loves tracking conspiracy theories and the right, even have a series on it called Hogwatch. I've noticed that virtually every conspiracy theory, no matter how innocent in its inception, almost always turns into, it almost always inevitably goes down to finding a common enemy that is responsible for everything. And given that it's rooted within idealistic notions and anti-materialist thinking, all of those conspiracies end up looking for a common enemy, which is almost always going to be Jewish people. Because, surprise, surprise, right-wingers are not very creative. And they always go back to the oldest conspiracies you can go back to, which is always Jewish people.
Start getting things set up. All right, so we're gonna make a brand new Google account. We're gonna do Jane Doe. Do September 11th, 2001. Rather not say. The fun part about doing this with shorts is all I have to do is just click on this shorts tab right here, and we're straight in it. I don't have to search for anything. I don't have to like figure out where to start this experiment, because it's just gonna put me straight into a short. And then I'm gonna be in that short and see how long it takes for YouTube to suggest right-leaning shorts. Bon voyage. Here we go.
Alphabet, Glinda. Alphabet, Glinda. I'm a witch and I'm...
How fast do we think he's going to start getting fed right-wing content? I don't think this is right-wing content, but we'll see.
Witch, but which is which? Well, here's the thing.
Okay. All right. You may have already seen the video, but a few months ago, I conducted an experiment where I made a brand new YouTube account, enabled incognito mode, we'll get back to that in a minute, and auto-played long-form YouTube videos indefinitely to see if the algorithm eventually fed me far-right content. Now, I'm not gonna spoil the results from that video because you should definitely go watch it after this one. However, a lot of you in the comments pointed out some flaws with my methodology that I will be addressing and fixing for this go around with the YouTube Shorts. So here are the guidelines and changes I've made for this experiment. First things first, I will be using a VPN to hide my IP address. And on top of that, I'm using a private browser called Brave. None of these are sponsors, by the way. It was honestly a perfect opportunity for them to be, but they didn't respond to my emails. So this video is not sponsored. But if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, and you want to go pick one up for yourself and support the channel at the same time, you can go to the store linked down below in the description. My dad helped me design these. He's an artist, and I think they look really cool. So I hope you like them too. Thank you so much for checking them out. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, a lot of you also pointed out that by not watching the videos in their entirety, I was influencing the algorithm via watch time. So today I'm gonna be watching the whole short all the way through before scrolling on to the next one. Thank God they're not longer than a minute, or this video would probably take until the 2028 presidential election. Oh, what's that? They can be up to 3 minutes now? Awesome. God, I should have done this months ago. I will also be taping up my camera and my microphone on my computer, and I also want to make sure that I'm not muting any of the shorts while watching them. All of this could influence the algorithm, so I'm going to take all of the precautions. I'm not messing around this time. Also, if you see me looking down writing something, it's me tallying and keeping count of which short we're on. What is this music over Sully? The best plane movie. What's your favorite plane movie? This is so funny.
Boss dog.
Up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the first foray into like kind of right wing. Okay. It begins. Algo went from Sully to like we're teetering on the edges. Let's see.
I think we've gotten the same song. It's the Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars "Down with a Smile."
Never mind, I was wrong.
What is the Sean Ryan show?
Oh, there it is. Okay, nope, that's it. I pulled the trigger too soon. I said like, I thought it was like the Dirty Jobs guy. I was wrong. He is right wing. The dirty, isn't it? The Dirty Jobs guy is like an overt right wing content creator. Sean Ryan, though, it's over. Yeah, I thought that guy was Mike Rowe. I was wrong.
Lord, just as David called upon you in his time.
We're getting a little Jesus blessing, guys. We're on Jesus shorts.
It's done. He's already firmly in the right wing orbit. And it's so funny because he doesn't even realize, because I don't even think he knows who Sean Ryan is. But he's quite literally firmly planted in the right wing pipeline already. I wonder what video it was, what number it was, like which short was the first Sean Ryan one. But that's it. It's over. He is now officially in. I think it was like the fifth one, basically. If he didn't cut any of them, standard default YouTube loadout. You come in with a VPN. It took 5 videos for you to see a Sean Ryan short. And you're already on the funnel. 6th video was basically a Christian thing, like Christian gospel thing. The algo is trying to figure out what you're interested in.
Sean Ryan show. Okay. This is another Sean Ryan show clip.
Where's your intersecting sector of fire?
I don't know what that is. I wish I knew who that was.
And we're at a bomb maker's house.
I guess I'll find out. Well, I did find out. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but after doing a little bit of researching, I discovered some interesting things about the Sean Ryan show. Sean is a former Navy SEAL who has his own podcast where, quote, you will find war stories, self-help, and funny product reviews. Sounds pretty cool, right? But what he doesn't say in his bio is that just a few weeks ago, he had on Pete Hegseth, Trump's current pick for the Secretary of Defense, who is an alcoholic, an alleged rapist, a Christian nationalist, and, what else? Oh yeah, and also his own mother called his behavior towards women despicable and abusive. During the podcast episode with Pete, Sean didn't question him on many of these things. Instead, he painted him in a very positive light, and they had a good old time chit-chatting about how sick being in charge of the largest military in all of human history would be. Yeah, sounds badass, dude. Cool. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's just one guy on the podcast who happens to lean to the right. And yeah, you're right. Right. But what I forgot to mention is that just in the past 6 months, he has also had on Tulsi Gabbard, Megyn Kelly, Kash Patel, RFK Jr., Tucker Carlson, Vivek Ramaswamy, Jordan Peterson, JD Vance, Donald J. Trump, and for all of my Google debunkers watching this, pseudo-archaeologist Randall Carlson. So yeah, there we go. It took only watching 48 shorts to get to one that was promoting the far right. Maybe not directly, but one click on the Sean Ryan channel and 2 podcast episodes later.
Oh. So it cut. So it wasn't like the 5th one. That's why I said I don't know if he like cut how many videos he watched.
Later, and now I think the pyramids are actually ancient power plants and that undocumented migrants have caused the housing shortage. All it takes is just one suggestion from the algorithm. This is why it's called a pipeline, and boy did that not take very long. No wonder they call them shorts. Now let's take a step back for a moment. Remember, I didn't know any of this about Sean Ryan at the time when I was recording, so I didn't realize what had just happened when I got these shorts recommended. From here, I was unknowingly put on a path that was not only right-leaning, but also, maybe unsurprisingly, very, very, very Christian. So, let's see where it ended up taking me.
My ways higher than your ways. Is that thing that you're worried about?
I love AI Jesus.
He's all
That's right. Everyone, please bow your heads and join together in prayer because we got AI Jesus.
Is this a Bible verse or is someone just talking about something?
Oh, and plenty more movie edits as well.
I'm so glad the exposure got turned up to 115 on here. It looks a lot better than the original color grading of the movie.
Then seemingly out of the blue, my YouTube algorithm decided to throw a wild card into the mix. I really don't know what led us to getting this short because the only shorts we had been watching all day were mostly Christian cooking and movies. But just like the God that I was introduced to through my Christian shorts, the YouTube algorithm must work in very mysterious ways. Because check out what I got next.
I've been accused of faking the before and after photos of this.
I mean, what's your profit margin, Ms. Kirkpatrick?
It's circa 50%.
Mr.
Josh Hawley. Guys, Josh Hawley is a Republican senator who's like super crazy right. I've only been doing this for a day.
Yeah, except this is this is pro Josh Hawley propaganda, but I think it's the algorithm is trying to figure out. The algorithm here is trying to figure out if you're like what kind of right winger you are, I guess maybe, or what kind of politics you're into. The video itself is pro Josh Hawley, yes, because Josh Hawley does famously laser these corporate demons. Very famously does so in these settings, like all the time, specifically for these kinds of videos, mind you.
I've only watched like less than 120 shorts.
Now, if there's one thing I know for sure after doing this experiment twice with both long form and short form, is that the YouTube algorithm loves this young senator from Missouri. If you make a brand new YouTube account right now, you will be introduced to Josh Hawley at some point in your journey.
I'm all for, cracking down on Visa and MasterCard profit margins too. Like this is not something I disagree with, but it is interesting that it's this YouTube channel is showing the section where Josh Hawley is pressing them. It's highlighting Josh Hawley. It's not highlighting the hearing.
While we weren't on the far right side of YouTube Shorts yet, I knew that this clip could be the catalyst that would take us there. Alt-right pipeline, here we come.
What is this?
Everything that you sow, you will reap eventually.
Yeah, just kidding. We got more Christian shorts.
Get ready for your blessings.
Okay.
God is making.
And I mean, a lot of Christian shorts.
Look at this.
Hey, yo, we got a melon raid. Shouts out to the melon boy. Thank you for the raid. We're currently watching a YouTube channel that I was unfamiliar with called Been a Minute. I watched shorts until it turned me alt-right, featuring Mini Minuteman. Now, this video came out 3 hours ago, which is precisely the reason why I ask, nay, demand the clip channels not to upload a reaction to this video. I want you to go and watch this video. I want you to go and support this channel. I do not want any of the fan-made clip channels to upload a reaction to this video. Okay? It's only been out for 3 hours. I didn't even realize it was only out for 3 hours. I wouldn't have started this journey if I knew that it was only out for 3 hours. Link it. We do link it. It's probably, isn't it already? I'm surprised that they are not. I will postpone. No, do not upload my reaction. Do not upload my reaction. I hope they copy strike you if you upload my reaction. Anyway, go like it and go show support to this channel.
Those pecs.
My children need to eat. I need to post HasanAbi Industrial Complex edits. Okay, well, your children are going to suffer and starve if you upload this video because I will come after you. You can upload a short if you want to of me reacting to a moment from the video. But if you upload a full-blown video reaction of this, it might have the capacity to push this out of the algorithm. It's something that we've experimented with. And if you do that, I will nuke you. The vicious capitalist finally reveals himself. It's funny that you're saying that because these aren't even channels that I control. I'm urging them to abide by the most ethical standards possible. Anyway. Also, speaking of these Christian shorts, I get them all the time. And unlike It's Been a Minute, I actually do love them. I love Christian talk. I love my Instagram reels, especially. I get them a lot on Instagram. I love them. And even my TikTok has actually become wise to the enjoyment I derive out of these types of content creators, because I was watching on my TikTok For You page a random TikTok streamer who was playing Fortnite while singing Christian gospel songs. And it is amazing. It's just like, it's so sick. I love looking into the world of a person that is so far out from the way I see the world, like so unimaginably different than myself. Like, how can we both be living on US soil and just be so far removed from one another in the way that we see the world?
That's fine too. We're going to keep going. But then from the Christian shorts, we started to get recommended motivational shorts.
Life isn't a movie. You need to have a plan, have an artist's ambition, but an engineer's mindset.
Which, from my experience, aka being an impressionable 20-year-old online back in 2016, can definitely have a strong connection to some right-leaning internet personalities.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the whole motivational side of shorts, which I just got, could definitely lead into like the Jordan Peterson, like, make sure to make your bed every morning, and then from there you can get stronger.
So I was interested to see if these figures like Jordan Peterson or Joe Rogan would pop up anytime soon.
For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth.
Oh yeah, and then we got more AI Jesus.
I hope this isn't the first thing I see when I die.
But then we got what I believe was the most impactful short out of this entire run so far. This one.
What really killed me was last Christmas, we canceled a song that was written in the 1940s called Baby It's Cold Outside. People were triggered by that song. Radio stations wouldn't play it. They said it had toxic masculinity in it, and they said that the lyrics had suggestions of male sexual aggression, which is fine if you feel.
Are we getting some right-leaning comedy?
The song in this nation for over 2 months was entitled "Wet." Ladies and gentlemen,
oh my God.
I really can't stay, baby, it's cold outside. I gotta go away, baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been so very nice. With some wet. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet.
This is like the same argument that Ben Shapiro had about the song.
You know what's really funny about this is that, like, yeah, I don't personally care about It's Cold Outside. I don't. Like, I don't care about, like, banning it or whatever. But it is objectively a song about a dude who's like, yeah, you can't leave. I know you want to, but you can't leave, and we're gonna bone. Okay? That's date rape or rape, right? It's just like you're trying desperately to, you know, manipulate someone into not being not doing what they want to do. Okay? Holy lib. No, I'm saying that, like, it is a song about coercing a woman. Okay? It's a little sex pesty, okay? It's like, you know, it's a little pressury. And I'm saying this as someone who, like, still doesn't care about banning the song. I don't give a shit. Like, don't ban the song. Who cares? I mean, dude, let me tell you. Let me tell you, okay? If you think that the Baby It's Cold Outside song is, if you think that that is coercy, listen to any rock song from 60s onward, okay? I'm just saying. It's technically tame in comparison to, like, 90% of rock music, where all of the musicians are talking and fantasizing about having sex with minors. Okay, so ultimately I don't care for that reason. But I do think that it's funny that these guys turn around and say, and these people talk about, and these people are talking about wet ass pussy. It's like, dude, the wet ass pussy part of the song is quite literally the opposite of the Baby It's Cold Outside song, where there is, like, a person, there's no implication of, like, a lack of consent or anything like that in the song. As if anything, it's an enthusiasm being demonstrated. So it's not, these two songs are not in the same category because there's, like, an implication of sexual conduct occurring. It's just one has an implication of sexual misconduct, the other one does not. One is a song about direct enthusiastic consent, if anything, from the perspective of a woman. The other song is the man being like, nah, you can't leave, lady. Like, how are you mad about wet ass P word? Once again, conservatives famously demonstrating that they care infinitely more about words. Okay, they care more about, like, meanie bobini curse words or something like that than they do about, like, you know, consent. It's awesome.
Reading the lyrics, talking about how offensive it is.
Now, I apologize for not letting you watch the entire joke. I know it's really f***ing hilarious, but we have more important things to get to. Because my theory of this joke being related to Ben Shapiro was right on the money. Because this is what we got only 2 shorts later.
You book your next stay on MendonStays.com. 3 years ago, a lot of...
You will get your chance to reply. Let me finish.
Deal in the first place. Hold on. I listened to your whole bullshit history for like 5 minutes here. So at least let me respond to it. Your entire claim is that the Arabs did not reject peace, and then in your own disquisition,
I got Ben Shapiro, day 2. I'm like 140 shorts in. The account is called Woke to Unwoke.
After that, they rejected.
This is right-leaning. This is a right-leaning short.
Now, from here, I could tell that my shorts feed had pretty much completed the curation process, meaning that I would really only get shorts that fell into one of 5 categories. Cooking.
I'm curious, like, how the phone...
No, he didn't skip anything. You're wrong. He watched every single short from start to finish. He said it in the beginning. No, he didn't skip that last one, man. It ended.
or cameras like connected to their head, maybe?
Sick movie edits.
Another movie clip edited to music.
AI voiced folk stories.
Some water into a stone bowl.
Oh, these
and
stories
slowly
are
walked
so
toward the wolf.
boring.
The gray wolf immediately bared its sharp teeth.
More Christian content.
He will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed.
And more right-leaning shorts.
Trump is the definition of standing on business.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
As President Biden said, just
Daily Dose of Masculinity, 488,000 likes. Trump is the definition of standing on business. That's amazing. He is my goat of standing on business. I love him. I love Trump because he is the goat of standing on business. It's great, dude. This is it. This is it, baby. Now, I'm also interested in like why this happens, because is it simply YouTube, you know, putting their finger on the scale? Is it simply that? Or is it that right-wing content is more eye-catching and more interesting, and it creates more time spent on the internet, like time spent on the platform, and the algorithm rewards videos that put you down a pipeline where you are spending more time on the platform? Is it also the vast quantity, not even quality, but the quantity of right-wing content that is readily available on every orifice of the internet? Partially because right-wing independent, in air quotes, independent content creators are backed by big donors in general, when there is no such left-wing equivalent. And that then it turns into a self-fulfilling, and not a self-fulfilling prophecy, but like when you have more right-wing content, because there's initially more money to like put out more right-wing content because they value propaganda a lot more than leftists even care to understand or consider. I think the algorithm is boosted because there's so much of it, so it's presenting more right-wing content, and ultimately more people see it and then organically create more right-wing content because they don't really have a genuine political framework that they operate off of and maybe just want clout. I think it's a money thing. It's been proven that more people interact with stuff they get upset by, they comment more, see more in general, and just interact more. Yeah. I think so. Why do you think leftists do not care about propaganda? I think there are structural hurdles against leftists who might even care about propaganda. I think the number one reason is the structural hurdles. The number one reason is obviously a century of Red Scare, anti-communist, anti-socialist propaganda, and the dominance that American empire had over any sort of leanings towards progress or socialism globally. We are living in the heart of empire, obviously, so that like played a big role. But most importantly, start with not calling it propaganda. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Stop. Leftists aren't cool enough. Time to up the score. More leftist reactionary channel, bro. Okay. Leftists aren't cool enough is so funny to say. Yeah, the guy who made a channel called Daily Dose of Masculinity, now that guy is cool. No, it's not about being cool at all. Listen to me. Right-wingers value people like Ben Shapiro because they understand that people like Ben Shapiro move the public's interest away from any sort of class consciousness and class war that would undermine their position in society and harm their bottom lines through unionization or maybe even full-scale revolutionary sentiment. Okay? They understand that. So it's much easier to keep people angry at one another rather than angry at who's actually harming them. This is the reason why they spend a good deal of money pumping channels like the Daily Wire. And there is no such equivalent on the left. Why is there no such equivalent on the left? Because why would anyone who has concentrated wealth in their hands work to undermine the very same system that has allowed them this tremendous bounty? There are no leftist billionaires. That's not a real concept. It doesn't exist. Of course. And even if there was a leftist billionaire, they would not be able to go against single-handedly the endless faucet of millionaires and billionaires that have designed the system or take advantage of the system because they've succeeded within this system. It just doesn't make sense. There's also additional problems with left-wing commentary. Obviously, one of the biggest ones is that it is much easier to lean on pre-existing social harms, social constructs, okay? Just lean on them and then present them as common sense. Of course we have to have police. Of course we have to militarize the police. There's bad guys out there with guns. But if you are even somewhat progressive or leftist, you looked at that situation and you have to say, no, the reason why there's so much crime, for example, is because it's born out of poverty and wealth inequality. And we have to actually solve the underlying material problems where crime exists and manifests. And also on top of that, the militarization of police has been a demonstrable failure. Police are being used as a way to protect class interests rather than the interests of the working class. They are there to defend the interests of the capital owner class, and that, you know, all of this stuff, describing systems, breaking them down, and then rebuilding them in your own vision, that takes time. It takes nuance. It's much easier to turn around and say, oh, shut up. You're a goddamn commie who wants cops to be murdered, and move on. It's much easier to lie. It's much more difficult to correct said lie. So there are a lot of different reasons as to why it's not exactly on equal footing, left-wing commentary versus right-wing commentary. In spite of it all, you know, people try their best. Now comes in the last aspect of leftist mobilization in general, because the left does have the numbers. Progressives do have the numbers in terms of making people recognize class consciousness. Maybe a lot of people are unfamiliar with it, but you can convince people to understand their position in society. The issue, however, is that in spite of the faucet of right-wing commentary backed by billionaires that fund and facilitate this kind of propaganda, there's also the left's tendency to kill one another, to constantly engage in sectarian infighting, to constantly turn marginal differences in opinion into the most consequential problems that anyone has ever seen. So when you pair up all of those issues, where it is incredibly easy to engage with wrecker behavior and take people seriously when they're engaging in wrecker behavior, you arrive at all of these issues. So I think in spite of it all, the left is doing all right. In spite of the structural limitations, in spite of not having any sort of institutional legitimacy in the way that right-wingers have, the left is doing their best. Even if the left has a tendency to get in the way of the left doing their best.
Don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true.
In order to protect its students.
Ben Shapiro roast Caitlyn Jenner. Isn't Caitlyn Jenner on the right
Look
now?
at me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So how is that getting to us? Radio. And where's
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'd say we were on the right side of shorts. Oh, and the brain rot had completely overtaken me at this point.
Oh my God, I can't believe they got Big Justice.
Boom! Now, I don't want to bore you and make you watch 250 more shorts with me, because we actually have some more important things to get to. And I promise you, you're not missing anything. It was just more movies, recipes, right-wingers, and of course, AI Jesus. Actually, mostly AI Jesus.
That I am stronger in you, that your joy is my strength.
So after feeling blessed as hell and knowing that we had been recommended a decent amount of political shorts, I was curious to see just how much of the past 10 hours and 28 minutes of doom scrolling leaned to the right. So out of the 500 shorts that I watched, 21 of them were political or political adjacent. If you're really good at quick math, you'll know that that makes up only 4% of the total amount of shorts that I watched. So one thing we've learned from this experiment so far is that if you're a new user on YouTube Shorts and you watch every single short all the way through, politics will get recommended, but it won't be a major part of your shorts journey. And remember, this is only the case if you watch every single short in its entirety. Obviously, if you engage with certain shorts more than others, you'll get recommended more of the ones that are similar to the shorts that you found engaging. Well, to the algorithm, I found all of them engaging. However, out of those 21 political shorts, 2 of them lean to the left and 19 of them to the right. It took watching only 48 shorts for the algorithm to recommend a far-right figure, and 109 shorts to get recommended something directly political, and that short just happened to be right-leaning. Shout out to Senator Josh Hawley. Now, this is all great and whatever, but here's the part of the video where I tell you that I've been lying to you this entire time. Sorry, because I've been hiding something from you. Something that just so happens to be a very important variable that I have been manipulating this entire time. A variable that I am hypothesizing plays a huge role in influencing the political leaning of the YouTube Shorts algorithm. So what if I told you that through the VPN, I selected a specific region of the United States for my IP address to appear in? I essentially picked up my computer and placed it somewhere else in the country to see if there are any regional algorithmic biases. Regional algorithmic biases. So this whole time, we've actually only been in one geographic region, and that region is Atlanta, Georgia. Despite the fact that Georgia flipped blue back in 2020, this area is fairly right-leaning. Atlanta might not be, but the surrounding counties are. Trust me, I used to live in Atlanta. It's a very, very blue city, but if you drive like 45 minutes outside the metro in any direction, things change very fast. So doing this experiment only once and in only one region of the country just doesn't give us the full picture, and it definitely doesn't answer the question of if the YouTube Shorts algorithm has a political bias. And because I'm a real journalist, oh wait, hold up. And because I'm a real journalist and not just some random guy who decided to make a YouTube video, I'm gonna be running this whole thing back again. And I'll be picking a new region of this big, beautiful, fucked up country 4 more times by blindfolding myself and then throwing a dart at a map and then seeing exactly how many shorts it takes to get to the right. Think of this as the first YouTube Short alt-right regional speed run. Who knows, we might wind up in a city near you. So let's find out if the algorithm...
I like that there's no... I want to know if there's any leftist content on that short.
Algorithm changes to fit the majority of a political view of a certain region, or maybe it's just the same across the entire country. Spoiler alert, it's not. I hope you brought some snacks and some good tunes because we're about to go on a little alt-right road trip. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we got Atlanta out of the way. So let's see where we wind up next.
All right, what's the closest city to that? Either San Antonio or Houston. I guess we're going to Houston.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Now, for the sake of time, what I'll be doing in each one of these locations is summarizing the different genres that we got in our shorts feed. And then I'll be stopping the run as soon as we get recommended a right-leaning short. We'll record how many shorts it took to get there. At the end, we'll see what region of the country led us to the far right the quickest, algorithmically speaking. All right, let's go. So Houston mainly consisted of 3 different things. The military.
C-130 pilots are the coolest dudes on the planet, all right? I was
Military.
up there called the Ugly Baby. It's actually
Okay, this is already... Stop the steal. I mean, you already got there. Like, that's it. Done. One and done, baby. You know, that's where the video should have stopped. When you got patriotic music with a guy talking about like C-130 gunner, C-130 guns, like, what do you think? What kind of What kind of politics do you think these guys are demonstrating?
Military shorts.
Only C-130 ever get a Purple Heart.
Animals.
I just took the DNA test, turns out I'm 100% stinky.
And specifically, parrots/birds.
Officer Gibby, are you the police?
I don't know if Houston has a big military base right next to an aviary or something, but according to Shorts, that's all you guys like. Oh, and I almost forgot. More AI Jesus.
I have already borne the greatest burden for you on the cross. You are not forgotten, and you are not forsaken, even in your darkest moments.
Well, after watching exactly 87 shorts of parakeets, prayers, and paratroopers, the algorithm blessed me with this.
This is why Donald Trump is gangster.
We boarded Air Force One in complete and total darkness, in the pitch black of night.
Hashtag Joe Rogan, hashtag Joe Rogan Experience, hashtag Iraq, hashtag Trump 2024, hashtag Trump rally, hashtag war.
Houston, we have a problem. Because it took you 88 shorts to give me something on the right. That was 21 shorts faster than Atlanta. We're off to a hot start. Houston, you are in first place. Or last, depending on how you interpret this whole thing.
All right, here we go. Illinois. I think the closest city is Chicago, so we're gonna go to...
I hated this one so much. No shade at Chicago at all, but while I was visiting, the algorithm trapped me on the absolute worst side of YouTube Shorts.
What the hell? I just thought Officer Spicy could be my new mom.
Huh?
I could definitely get down with this Ohio life.
Gen Alpha Shorts. This was quite literally all that I got.
Ooh, like and subscribe if I should give Daniel this miracle potion.
You don't have Robux? Then click the link in my bio.
I guess everyone in Chicago was born after 2010 because all I saw were kid shorts, Gen Alpha.
Is this the nightmarish nonsense that children are watching online? I think that's it. I'm officially old. I've gone to the beach that makes you old. I now understand how my parents must have felt when I was first making my foray into the online spheres. So the boomers get fed AI Jesus slop, and the Generation Alpha gets fed Robux and, you know, Mario Peach AI generated slop. Are millennials and Zoomers the only generation that doesn't like AI art across the board? Are we just kind of like sandwiched in between generations that love AI? Because I hate it. There's something about AI art that I just despise. My mom, on the other hand, an art PhD, okay? This woman, not calling her out, teaches art at a collegiate level, okay? And she is constantly looking at AI art, and I'm like, Mom, scroll past it. The algorithm keeps feeding it to you. And she keeps telling me it's cute, so she doesn't care. And I am truly worried. I've noticed it. The first time I clocked it, I was like, that is crazy. She's an art history teacher, yes. Now, I have noticed that the only people that have any sort of anger towards AI art are usually from the millennial generation. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe people in the millennial and the Zoomer generations also love AI art as well. But older people broadly love AI art. They don't understand it. They think it's real. They get freaked out by it. Or even if they recognize it, they still enjoy consuming it. And it seems like Zoomers, maybe not Zoomers, sorry, but Generation Alpha does too. So I think Zoomers and millennials are born too late to enjoy AI art and born too young to enjoy AI art. Born, you know, just at the right time to hate AI art being surrounded by people who love AI art. Anyway, boomers like it in a way you only can if you aren't threatened by AI. Zoomers, I feel like, not Zoomers, Generation Alpha thinks it's normal because it's all they've seen, and boomers don't mind it because they think it's real.
Memes and the pets, like cats and dogs. Now, I had been here before. Last time I did this with the other video.
Fishy, fishy, fishy here, fishy, fishy, fishy.
So I knew that I was probably going to be trapped here for all of eternity and was never going to be recommended anything remotely political. Gen Alpha can't even vote yet. Why would they be getting shorts that were left or right-leaning?
Did you vote for Camellia in the elections? If you did, you lose 10,000 Riz. But if you voted for Trump, you get plus 1 million Riz. He has so much aura. Comment who you voted to for a bonus 700 Riz. If you don't comment, sorry, but you lose all your Riz points.
Oh. Well, never mind.
Are you joking? I'm sorry, what? What did I just watch? What? Dear leader, President of the People's Republic of China, the General Secretary of the Chinese, the Communist Party of China, please, sir, in the words of the famous Donald Trump save me guy that was caught in a car in a unique moment, Xi, save me. We want your firewall. Please bring about the great firewall of China, sir. Dear leader, sir, you must save us. Send the Dongfang 41 directly to me. When I grew up in the church, they love brainwashing kids, thinking into conservatives are cool. My kid is 12. Her right-wing father constantly pestered her during the election about who she would have voted for if she was old enough. They're all crazy. She watches you and calls herself a leftist, so she likes to trigger him. Nice.
Gru shamed us for voting for Kamala. Here I thought that we were just gonna be stuck on the kids' shorts and never actually get to anything political. And here we are, with Gru telling us how to vote, or how we should have voted. Donald Trump is just to have more Riz points. Donald Trump is the Rizzler and the Riz God. This is crazy. Donald Trump has good Riz and Giga Chad jawline. Trump 2024.
Well, Chicago, all thanks to Gru and his Riz quiz, you lasted 98 shorts. Slightly longer than Houston, but not by much.
I want this new iPhone so I can subscribe to VuxBucks for free Bobucks.
I am genuinely terrified for this next generation. Okay, that sucked. All right, let's see where we go next.
Okay, here we go.
Like, I need to understand something. That video, including all of the Robux Bobux videos, imply that there are grown men okay, who have lived long lives, long into adulthood, who have chosen to think, what can I get children to watch? Sat around a computer, fired up the AI generator, and decided this is what I will make for children. To me, that is danger, okay? That is dangerous. That is so dangerous. I feel like that person should go to jail, okay? Oh my God.
San Francisco, home of the Oakland Raiders. They're in Las Vegas now.
Okay, well, hello, San Francisco. Well, according to Republican lore, San Francisco was the birthplace of the first gay, and is pretty much seen as the ground zero for the modern liberal.
Yeah, it's true. That's where homosexuality was invented.
But hey, I'm sure there's some conservative holdouts in the Bay Area, so we could end up getting some right-leaning content, but I have a feeling it's gonna take a long time. Now, funny enough, the main categories of shorts we were getting in San Francisco consisted of comedy sketches.
I just made the rabbit disappear.
Whoa. I found it. Ma! What the hell?
Animals, of course. And a lot of science shorts.
Nice day.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
So far, this was the least offensive and most wholesome YouTube Shorts algorithm I had seen so far. Things were very family friendly.
It's like the most non-offensive algorithm we've had yet. Unless science pisses you off, which I know it does for some people.
But don't worry, I still got some. Say it with me. AI Jesus.
What is it? Is it like self-selecting? Is that what it is? That like people that have a tendency to like look for Jesus content online also have a tendency to believe that like AI content isn't awful or something? Like, what is it? Because like AI Jesus, so AI slop creators have basically got this down to a science. That's why you see so much of this on Facebook, especially, where it's completely out of control, where you'll see all these like crazy photos of AI made like Despicable Me, AI Jesus, AI Christianity. And it's really interesting because like the Facebook algorithm, like these are the there are basically slop shops that scour the algorithm to look at like what people are responding to and then serially produce whatever people are responding to. They just like mash it together. And it tracks with what he's seeing as well. It's like usually animals being saved and then something Jesus related. So Facebook AI will basically mash all of that together. Oh, there it is. Look, Jesus inspires. 10 unknown facts about hashtag BMW founding in history. And it's like seemingly Jesus as a Korean soldier who's like carrying a woman. And then the helicopter, they're like being carried out of a flood. The woman has no head, but is like could be, and has no hands either. Anyway, this is the type of crazy stuff that is like generated out of just pure AI algorithmic trackers. Okay, they look at like whatever is popping on the algo and then they just like mishmash it together and they produce this in like seconds. It's not like there's a lot of forethought or afterthought or any thought really dedicated to this. This kind of slop is popping on Facebook. It's all over Facebook. Anyway, and I've always wondered like what it is. Okay, what is it? Is it just that like older people love Jesus? Or just like religious figures or something, and they are way more inclined to appreciate this or spend a lot of time on the website? Like, what is it? My mom literally posted an AI Jesus birth, the AI angel and shepherds. I did not engage her over it. I did. When I see my mom looking at AI stuff, I immediately try to get her to stop. And I try to get her to train her algorithm to not show her that. And all it takes is one AI thing for you to like spend any time on. You can do this on your own. If you ever see anything AI generated on your Instagram feed, if you spend any time on it, it will immediately put you on a totally separate algo where you're just only being served AI content. That's what's really interesting about it too, is just like the algorithm knows if you are interested in AI stuff. They'll test the waters, they'll give you something. And if you've been on TikTok long enough, you know that like all of these other platforms are basically stealing from the For You page algorithm. You know what it's like when you're like getting a certain type of video and then out of nowhere, you get like a random video. That's when the algorithm is testing you. In my circumstance, testing my faith. Okay, a faith. Where, you know, it'll put a sexy lady in front of me, right? And it's just like, how will he respond? Will he quickly, bah! Go, ah! And then pull the trigger? Or will he sit there and watch? Will he watch over and over again the sexy lady? Will he click on the sexy lady's profile and look at the sexy lady's other videos? Will he do all of that? And if you do the second thing and not the first, I'll never be caught dead looking at sexy ladies, obviously. You can't catch me. Okay? Look at my TikTok.
Rocket is by far the most annoying, evasive support in all of Marvel Rivals, but
the most important scientific publication of our lifetimes may have just been published.
Welcome to episode 2 of my ski season Japan. I woke up very frantically today because the window was calling my name.
Elon Musk and Mukesh Ambani are fighting over India's internet, and Musk may...
So I was given a blank canvas.
So I ran across this post. Someone said, I just found out that only 1.5% of Japan's population is Christian, and I'm heartbroken.
Wait, let him talk.
Do you know the same way we view prisons?
You see this?
Did you know that India has its own...
Anyway, not a single one. Oh, all right. So my point is, your feed blows where the baddies. No, I know. My feed does blow a little bit. It's all boomer feed. No, it's just like politics feed and science feed. It's lame. I bet you won't show your phone algo. Honestly, my phone algorithm is no different. I mean, it's probably even better. Here.
Like Trump nominated a nigga to be defense secretary with no experience.
Hold on. Let me put it in Do Not Disturb.
Also said that there's differences between the left and the right that cannot be reconciled. No, I'm getting iron fisted.
Cloak and Dagger.
I spent my entire life savings.
How my invention was a waste.
So I wanted to shout out a few of the ones that help inform my politics and that I think have a lot to offer you.
Oops.
A lot of people say that I came from daddy's money and I had a really big head start in life. So today I want to Polynesians have a genetic advantage. Polynesians have a gene that is almost non-existent among every other race, but is in over 50% of Polynesians. It's a gene that allows them to store fat much more easily compared to everyone else. The reason they have this gene is because of natural selection. Polynesians were some of the greatest sailors in history. They colonized most of the islands in the Pacific Ocean. So my neighbor has this old Japanese mini truck just sit.
I didn't know you had that kind of speed. How'd you do it? I don't know. I just...
Admiring Cole's majestic face card, and then remember he does street interviews and makes e-boy music.
As you all know, I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but maybe it's not the male loneliness epidemic. Maybe you just idolize fucking losers. And here we go. Now, it's not slipping out as...
30 years ago, a BBC TV show predicted what life would be like in 2025. Although it got...
Anyway, so it's that, okay? Just go on TikTok. No, I wanted to show my phone algorithm, which is more in tune with what I look at. I wanted to show you my phone algorithm, which is what is more in tune with what I look at than my desktop algorithm. TikTok desktop algo is not good. So, the point is, I don't have anything cool on my algo, and I want to change it. How do I change it? Chat, how do I change my algorithm? I want to see more dance videos and fun stuff. I have no idea what's going on in the world. All of my algorithm, it's all weird stuff that is just politics and science related. And then also Marvel Rivals. I don't like that. I don't want to reset the cache though, because I feel like it's good. Like I feel like I've spent so much time on TikTok that it knows me. It knows me better than anyone else. Become a cooler person and the algo will change, I guess. Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, you know what they say. In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death, taxes, and AI Jesus.
Of your powerful presence in everything I do, wherever I go.
Well, after...
Do you lie about anything in your life? Wait, what? No, what are you talking about?
Scrolling for 7 straight hours, I had watched, again, in their entirety, over 250 shorts, and I had not gotten one thing that was even remotely political. I could have kept going, but I was sure that my feed was not leaning into politics and would probably never get there.
I'm never gonna get anything political.
So, good job, San Francisco. Not only do you guys not get far-right shorts, but you also just don't get any political shorts at all. Honestly, sounds kind of nice. Okay, where is our last spot to finish this whole thing off going to be?
All right, last one. Here we go. Oh, God. Okay. New York. We're going to New York City, Big Apple, home of the Ground Zero.
Now, I didn't really know what to expect with this one. Like Atlanta, I also used to live in New York City for a bit, and this is just from my own personal experience, but Atlanta felt more progressive to me than NYC did. Like, there might be a lot of Democrats in New York, but I wouldn't say there was a ton of progressives. I think I actually met more Trump supporters in New York City than I did in ATL. But again, your experience may vary. So anyway, I felt like this one could go either way. And wow, what the hell? This run ended up being probably the most unpredictable thing that I could have predicted. Well, that sounded stupid. All right, so breaking down New York. We had a lot of animals.
Yeah, I love you.
A lot of Jesus.
Show your faith by typing amen in the comments.
Actually, the most Jesus we've had so far.
If you love me, stay for 20 seconds. If you believe in the transforming power of Jesus Christ, Christ's transforming.
It's so funny because like this stuff, here's the thing. This stuff doesn't work. It's not like people are more religious or more Christian than they ever have been. It genuinely doesn't work. So I don't know, or maybe this is keeping the entire planet, or at least like the entire American population from completely abandoning Christianity. It's just holding on by a thread. 2.2K views and 300 comments. No, that's 2.2K likes, not views. And I don't know if people think seeing Jesus is in a stain or a toast is a religious experience. Maybe a machine creating Jesus is also kind of magical. Also, for old people, it might genuinely partially just be bad sight. It's not trying to convert them. It's trying to get engagement from the boomers. I think it's designed to just annoy atheists. No, it's all engagement bait. It's literally gaming the algorithm through creating videos and finding out what is more like what creates a higher likelihood of people writing stuff under your comments. That's why AI Jesus is always talking about please write an amen in the chat. Do you not understand what it is? This isn't like designed to propagandize Christianity to an audience. It's more so that there's a captive market for people who are dumb and susceptible to this sort of thing that will type amen in the comments, and that basically boosts the video's likelihood of being shown to random people and just more people in general in order to generate revenue for the creator. It's not a genuine effort towards evangelism. They're just trying to get views. My mom would fall for this. Yeah. I just don't understand, like, I guess I kind of answered my own question. Like, why is this not causing people to become more Christian? I guess this is the reason, because it's not intended to make people more Christian. It's just intended to get people to respond to it so it boosts itself in the algorithm, generating more revenue for the person who created the AI slop. But I guess all this shows us is that there are, like, if you have a higher likelihood of seeking out Christian related content, you have an infinitely higher likelihood. You are more susceptible. You are more susceptible to responding to slop like this.
Talking to me? And over and over and over again, we heard a song. The same song that we heard all the way back on the 5th short we watched in Atlanta, Die With a Smile, by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga.
I feel like I've seen this movie at least 70 times. This freaking dog, guys.
Now, nothing was looking too political yet, but then I got recommended a short with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
How many people know this? Often it's mind-blowing when you learn that some infinities are bigger than others.
But yeah, you might recognize those famous red curtains behind him.
Joe Rogan,
oh my God,
leaned 2
it's
feet
Joe
away
Rogan.
from the microphone.
So again, nothing political yet, but I knew from past experience that Joe Rogan shorts can inadvertently, or maybe advertently, put you into right-leaning content. And I was right, because a few shorts later, we got Jordan Peterson.
Is in disguise. And the guy left.
So it is. I wasn't wrong. It is right-leaning content. That dog movie. It gave off right-wing content vibes. Like that's your first. It gives you a little taste of what is to come whenever you see that dog movie from that guy.
No way.
Went home and he helped my mom do the dishes. And then Dad came home from work and rather than
Interesting.
said, "Hey Dad, how was work?"
But again, he wasn't talking about anything political, so I'm still not going to count this yet. Again and again, we kept getting political adjacent shorts, but nothing direct yet.
Hey, Andrew Huberman.
What am I going to do? Find something that's generative that you're passionate about.
Like,
Yeah. Maybe I was just looking too hard for something that New York never had to offer. But then, in a moment of divine intervention, I got a short that reminded me what I must do.
Do you have 1 second for God?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Heavenly Father, I pray you give this person peace and joy that nobody can
Amen.
ever take away from them. Help them.
Amen. 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 Thank God. Finally, someone on the internet is giving me spiritual guidance, dude. Thank God. Jesus, Lord, mercy.
Realize that they're stressed because they're trying to do it all on their own, but they can have peace if they leave it all.
I feel like the AI Jesus and that dog movie with Dennis Quaid is basically the lube. Okay? It's the lube before they fuck your brain with just mainlining, straight piped, hardline right-wing propaganda. They lube your brain up, make sure it's nice and smooth before they just stick it in. And that's what I think is going on.
In your hands. Take their burdens and worries and help them realize that everything that's out of their control is in your control, and you're working all things together for their good.
I needed to relinquish control.
No cursing to build up to this. No cursing doesn't mean I don't ever curse. I just meant that, like, I won't be cursing as much in order to make it more impactful when I do curse.
And just let Jesus take over from here. AI Jesus, take the mouse wheel and take me where I need to go.
I want to make abortion illegal because it is the only applicable extension of laws we already and standards
Yep, 203,000 likes. That tracks.
we already have in the West, correct?
Oh God, Jesus, no, not Charlie Kirk. Yeah, after 243 New York shorts, we got the founder of Turning Point USA.
I should have known the religion shorts were going to bring us to something like this eventually. I just, yeah, this is it. Well, we got there.
If you aren't familiar, Turning Point USA is a nonprofit organization, and they advocate for far-right extremism. They mostly cater to white male grievances, claiming to be victims of woke values like equality and inclusion. Their main objective is to promote authoritarianism and anti-democratic governance in the United States. So TLDR, they're pretty far right.
But the political views that we're talking about here are all defensible using reason and Western tradition.
All right, so here are all the cities with the corresponding amounts of shorts it took to get to the far right, with Houston being the quickest and San Francisco never even getting there. But is this a chicken and egg situation? Which one really came first? Do the shorts promote the far right, or does the far right promote the shorts? Well, after watching YouTube shorts for exactly 22 hours, 31 minutes, and 25 seconds, I'm going to try to make some sense of all of this. What I've found through this journey is that there are enough videos on this platform to keep you watching for the rest of your life, plus give or take a few thousand years. And that's the thing. It really just comes down to keeping you here on this.
Oh, I was muted. Why aren't Democrats doing what Republicans did and going after these platforms for purposely promoting right-wing content? Great question. Number one, it's because the Democrats are asleep at the wheel. They just are. They kind of take the existing liberal media ecosystem for granted and don't really do anything to massage, to grease the wheels at all. They never really have, as a matter of fact. American history is riddled with right-wing agitators actively at every step, making the American public more reactionary, making the American public more anti-communist, anti-socialist. They have desperately tried to educate the American population on the scary nature of socialized medicine, for example. And the Democrats rarely ever do anything to combat that narrative. And partially, they don't do anything to combat that narrative because they themselves are also a part of the elite class that benefits from having a captive audience that is incredibly reactionary. They are also benefiting from, not doing anything in the direction of socialized medicine, for example. They serve the same masters. So I think that's part of the reason why they don't do anything about it. Because the Democratic Party was and is Republican light. That movie, A Dog's Purpose, is propaganda because the dog character gets reincarnated as a police dog. It's not explicitly right-wing, but has many aesthetics that often appeal to right-wingers. Oh, that's funny. I don't even think Democrats care about the liberal values. They don't even try to do propaganda about it. Yes, they don't. They don't care. Now, I think the liberal audience cares. Like, I think, your liberal neighbors care about that sort of thing. They probably don't like that there's so much right-wing stuff out there. They probably don't like that the right-wing commentary dominates the field. Or maybe some of them are more oblivious to this and also find themselves in the whims and the throes and the mercy of right-wing commentary, right-wing reactionary politics. You know? But one side is actively propagandizing their position because they understand that their position is not exactly very good for the broad majority. They actively propagandize their position by shifting your attention away to other things, making you hate your neighbors, making you hate people that making you fear changes in society, telling you that any sort of change in society is bad and wrong and terrifying and scary and will kill you and disturb your comfortable existence, or will disturb it further. Even if you have a disturbed existence, it will make things far worse. What's the leftist equivalent of an old white man with a dog? Movie-wise, it would be like, I don't know. I don't even know what the equivalent is of that kind of imagery, but for the left. I guess like something that is pro-worker. Anyone with dyed hair or a tattoo? I guess. Trans kid, Christian accepting mom. Sure.
Website for as long as possible. That's it. I'm not saying that's good or bad. That is objectively the point of the algorithm. It doesn't exist to teach you anything or help you in any way. It only exists to feed you content it thinks will make you stay.
Yeah, A Bug's Life, Hunger Games, Ants, Star Wars, things of that nature.
Here until you have to go do that other pesky thing called life.
So a lot of the time, the people who are getting interested in this pipeline and beginning to go down it don't even share these political.
By the way, you guys said this guy's awesome. The Mini Minute Man. He sounds so much like Ben Shapiro. No disrespect to him. I'm sure he's dope. But he sounds so much like Ben Shapiro. It's
Values
crazy.
to begin with and are radicalized by this pipeline because it continues to show them things that elicit an emotional response. You know, and that is a big thing that I've seen talked about a lot recently is that, you know, just how many sort of news outlets and, you know, media sort of pundits, you know, benefit by keeping us really angry and by, you know, feeding us things that will intentionally rile people up because it's the thing that gets clicks. It's the thing that drives that, you know, engagement and gives you all that.
Also, I 100% agree with everything he's saying. For the record, there's only one thing that he said that I was like a little bit worried about, where he was like talking about populism as like an evil thing across the board, kind of. But he probably was talking about right populism in general, which is like racism, reactionary garbage in general.
Watch time. So, you know, companies like YouTube, like Instagram, like TikTok, they benefit by showing you this misinformation because it's inflammatory and it might get you to, you know, interact with it more than just a normal, you know, science video.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about
The video is not
kind of
at
determining
125.
which
The video
way-
is at 1. Turns the video to 1.2x. No, I didn't do that. The video is normal speed, chatter.
algorithm might lean. The answer is it doesn't lean anyway.
Yeah, completely, completely.
It's going to show you videos that it thinks you're going to like based off of like the traction that video has received before.
Hi.
And inflammatory content gets more views than non-inflammatory. So
I believe that a lot of people who fall down these far-right pipelines all go through a very similar experience. It starts with a genuine curiosity to understand the world around us. We all have questions that we're trying to find the answers to. Why can't
I have never seen either of these guys on my timeline, but I immediately like both of them because it seems like they also understand one of the major issues with misinformation. Like just an unlimited amount of right-wing misinfo pipelines that turn into right-wing pipelines. So I'm happy that I encountered them today on Sunday Fun Day.
Can I afford to buy a home? How do I get a six-pack? Who built the pyramids? Why don't I feel happy anymore? No matter which way you may lean politically, we all have the same questions. We all feel the same way. We're all experiencing this world together. The only difference, in my opinion, is that one political ideology, that being the far right, has successfully capitalized on answering these questions that we have. But the caveat is their answers are only there to serve their own political agenda. They're not there to actually help you. And to me,
Mini Minuteman's most popular content usually centers around debunking racist historical theories and scientific racism. I love that. That's great.
The most frustrating thing about all of this is that the liberals or the Democrats in power don't even try to come up with answers. They just think that, oh, as long as we're the lesser of two evils, then we'll win an election eventually, right? I don't think so. Neoliberalism is dead, and populism killed it. And from a purely social media perspective, populist rhetoric algorithmically performs a lot better than rhetoric promoting the elitist status quo of the so-called.
I wouldn't say neoliberalism is promoting the elitist status quo, I guess to a certain degree, though, because like neoliberalism is also, in many ways, depending on what you are talking about, when you talk about like populism, okay? If you're talking about left-wing populism, if you're talking about like helping other people, you know, creating, like decommodifying housing, socializing medicine, having a robust welfare state or whatever, right? That kind of stuff can have an anti-government slant. That much is true, okay? But if you were to cast that aside and say, oh, well, that's just populism. You're just saying like things to be popular in order to curry favor with the broader audience. And you just have like an anti-elite slant for that reason. I think that is also a thought-terminating attitude to have, especially when you then turn around and assume that neoliberalism has its foundations like firmly rooted within the way things actually are, and has a genuine investment in uplifting the truth, when it doesn't. It in and of itself is the current hegemonic ideology that dominates the globe, and it is obviously a different version of capitalism. It's basically, you know, pro-corporate capitalism. Even if there is market interference, it doesn't matter as long as it's done at the behest of companies. Then it's good, because ultimately companies will be companies controlling the marketplace is infinitely better than the government controlling it. This is a reductive way to approach it, but basically, my point is there's a good deal of time and investment, direct investment, to uplift this kind of ideal and present it as though it is the norm, and cast aside any sort of alternative ways of thinking about the world and the economic organization that we exist under. And that's the reason why I'm also always skeptical of think tanks and not immediately receptive to whatever an academic from a particular think tank has brought forth as though it is the truth. Because there is a litany of right-wing think tanks, for example, that, in my opinion, churn out the exact same kind of garbage that they present as the objective truth through neutral language, through academic language. This is crazy. Hey, chat. Hey, it's been a minute. Is this actually his account? Svetlana kind of bad, not gonna lie. What do you think the running narrative from the Dems will be November when Biden loses in a landslide? Vehemently. That's Charlie Sheen. Ah, yes, South Carolina, the only state with black people. Shut up. Happy birthday, brother. I hate his voice. Is this actually him? I can't tell if this is actually him, but this is a very good video. I really liked it. If it is actually you. This is the first time I've watched one of your videos, and it's very good. I don't think Milo is on Twitch. Lol. Yeah, that's me. But yeah, my point is there is a lot of time and a lot of investment in academia as well that in academia as well that basically works to justify our current neoliberal institutions, our neoliberal ways of existence. Thanks for watching. I've been a huge fan for a while. This is a great video, man. Talking about populism in this general way shows underlying bad theory. It implies that it's inherently not intellectual and that the experts, aka ruling elites, are more objective, which is ridiculous. People like Hillary Clinton especially do that when they want to portray think tanks and so forth as if they are experts on the correct governance, the same way natural scientists are on their expertise. So that is something that I also get frustrated by, because like I also go through the academic literature on a lot of this stuff whenever I talk about things. But having said that, there are there's a good deal of think tanks. Like, I mean, the Manhattan Institute is a good example, right? The American Enterprise Institute, the Heritage Foundation, even Brookings Institute has its own ideological goals, right? Brookings Institute is good for certain things and reliable for certain issues, but then you know, there are always going to be fissures in whatever they're putting out. Anti-populist liberals are always unironic elitists. Exactly. It's something that I think differentiates a person like myself from a person like Destiny. From the outside, it might look like we are on the same side, right? It's like, oh, these guys are always combating right-wing misinformation, which is true. We are. The difference, however, is that I also do not automatically abide by any sort of like academic literature when it's done at the behest of like defending liberal capitalism. Don't know about that, Chief. No, okay, guys, we're not talking about like all the weird nonsensical stuff that Destiny engages in terms of like white people's right to say the N-word, or debating ethical CP, or propping up a litany of different kinds of a litany of different white nationalist neo-Nazis. Okay, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about like to the average person who doesn't pay attention to any of this stuff. They just see him as like the guy, the epic debate lord that destroys right-wingers in the marketplace of ideas. Okay, that's it. Like a normie that sees some YouTube shorts or whatever and goes, ooh, this guy seems cool. He seems smart. Center for American Progress is the prototypic neolib think tank. I wouldn't say they're neoliberal, but they're definitely, I mean, they're liberal capitalist. And at the end of the day, there might be some agreements there, but then there's a whole lot of disagreements there as well.